You sure?
Yep.
Alright, this is your 2-poem warning. That means I got 2 left in me. Yeah, so I've heard 2 references to Icarus tonight. So 3rd time's poetry works in 3s, like comedy, I guess.
That's tragedy.
That's tragedy works in 3s?
Yeah.
Well, this poem is kind of tragic. It's called Icarus. It also starts with an epigraph. Was Daedalus really stricken with grief when Icarus fell into the sea, or just disappointed by the design failure? Alison Bechtel. 1. My father once told me he knew how to ride a unicycle. I can't imagine him balancing on one wheel. A clown riding down the block again and again, performing for neighbors and friends as they watched in awe of his foolishness, waiting to see if he'd lose it and fall. I asked if he still knew how. It's not like riding a bicycle, he said. You forget. 2. Uncle Bill died, my father informs me via text message. I hardly remember my great uncle. He hated the name William, wanted us to call him Bill or Billy, said William was his father's name. It felt bitter and metallic on his tongue, a worn penny mistaken for candy. I wonder if this is the same reason my father, named for his father, went by Dick rather than Richard. The service is Friday morning. Can you make it? My father asks. I'll try, I say. 3. There are ghosts haunting the silence I've grown accustomed to in our conversations. They linger longer than usual before a heavy question. So what are your plans after you finish school? Poetry isn't the response he wants. It doesn't come with a business plan. He sees it gaining little interest, unable to cover the cost of living, let alone dying. You know, if you die, we'll be left with your debt. Words form angry mobs in the back of my throat that want to storm the castle walls my father has built between us. I swallow them instead. All I can say is, don't worry. 4. He does worry. I don't know if it's the money or my falling which scares him more. I like to think he's disappointed in himself for forgetting, for becoming the man he swore as a son he wouldn't, wanting for me his own flawed designs. Sorry, he did not name me after him. Thank you very much. You guys have been a great audience. This is my last poem. The title of my book, published by Moontide Press, is called What We Ache For. It actually was released a year ago yesterday. I posted a fun little Facebook status update thanking everybody who's ever come to a reading, bought my book, bought my CD, or just left a nice note saying I didn't suck. So it's kind of cool to be reading tonight, kind of honoring what was a year ago happened. That made no sense. My poem English. Alright, that made no sense either. Alright, and this is the poem where the title of the book comes from, What We Ache For. It's in 2 parts. It's called Tandem. 1. As a kid, I was afraid to ride a bicycle, puzzled by its strange mechanics, confused how one stayed balanced on only 2 thin rubber wheels in motion. I decided to leave it to the schoolyard daredevils. Walking was fine for me. But with the sucker punch of puberty, my guts were wound with enough messy bravery to finally learn how, so I could slip out in the night with friends and TP the houses of all the girls we liked. We tossed the rolls high over our heads like hand grenades, spreading toilet paper as if it were the lining of our own hearts, as if we were skywriting love notes against the canvas of midnight. Rushing home after our confessions, we were champions on 10 speeds, free of words we'd wanted to say but hadn't yet developed language for. I was most alive, though, pedaling towards the girls, appreciating how far I came to understand the balance of it all, certain it was something I needed to know. I could feel it in the way my muscles ached. 2. On our first date, You tell me how solitude grew to fit you well. How if a straitjacket is worn long enough, it can become a favorite winter coat. 2 months later, you tell me a different story. The beach, your sisters and their boyfriends, 2 rented tandem bikes, and a cruiser left for you that was more torture device than bicycle. It pulled a confession from your chest. The word lonely escaped like a ghost through the walls of your rib cage and has haunted you since. Hearing this, I want to hold you with more arms than I have. Loot a prosthetic limbs factory just to octopus hug you when I whisper. Your beautiful autonomy makes single-cell organisms jealous, but eventually even they learn to split in 2. What I don't say is this. I hope your heart divides. I hope I'm around to see its stunning symmetry, maybe feel the weight of it rest in my palm long enough to memorize its friction. That kind of confession, there's no language for. So we sit silent, my eyes promising I'll ride tandem bike marathons with you, and yours answering back. This is what we ached for. Thank you very much.